welcome everyone to the Cowboy Bebop Spoilercast. I wanted to talk about this one. I did think I was like, which one are we doing? So which are we doing? Hawkeye or doing Bebop? We're gonna start it off with Bebop, just a surprise, Sean. And so yeah, it's been a while. I don't know which one's going to be out first. I assume probably the Hawkeye one, but I'm going to talk about it like this is the first one we're doing because
we're going to pretend.
Yeah, so it's been a long month and a half since we've done anything. So as always, I'm Mitch. You can follow me on Twitter, Mitch692, and of course, I'm joined by Sean.
What's up? You can join me at Marvin the Martian _12 on Instagram.
So the child spoke first there, and I was like, his nuts just dropped.
He's back.
I was like, Sean's voice just really badly cracked.
I've been.
Like,
my tubes got tied, so goes down ocular.
So yeah, Cowboy Bebop, the live-action Netflix series adapting.
Mm-hmm.
When was Bebop? Was it 98?
Yeah.
98. Wow, I always think it like late 80s, early 90s. I don't know why.
Oh, it's the animation style that kind of makes it look that way. Like the animation style looks a lot like the 80s.
So I was gonna Cowboy Bebop.
It's gonna be the 80s. I know.
Oh no, it's 98. I was spot on. I was right for a change.
Awesome.
Yeah. Doesn't happen a lot, but it happened now.
Relish it.
I find this a tough one.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those where it's like the original is a classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's on Netflix. You have no excuse in it.
Yeah.
Which was my excuse before. It's like I've seen it once and that was because it was pain in the ass to watch over here. But now Netflix have, thankfully praised me. Yeah, and it's I don't know. What did you think of the show as a whole? Let's just start with that
one. Well, okay, I'll start with my wife's opinion on it because she's Japanese. She's in love with it. She loves anime, and she did not like this one bit. Did not like it.
No redeeming qualities for her whatsoever.
She cannot say one good thing about it,
wow.
except for John Cho being in the movie show.
Wow.
And even that is kind of like a sore subject with her because she's like, he looks like him,
old.
But yeah. In my opinion, it's okay. It's meh. I was a little disappointed because of like all the marketing and all the hype that came with it, and then like when it came out, I was like, I wasn't regretting watching it, but I'm not going back to watch it again. But I'm not gonna go back and rewatch that season. So
yeah,
I mean, there were things that were kind of scratching my head on why they changed.
Yeah. I will say for the most part, everything new for me fell flat. Yeah. I can't say I enjoyed every new addition in this. The only thing I will say is the ending, while kind of falling flat, has me intrigued.
Yeah.
I don't know what the thinking was behind that, but I kind of want to see where. So they're clearly sticking to the rest of the show for season 2. Yeah. This has a season 2. We know for a fact. They're clearly going to be sticking with it, but the direction it takes, it's like it's not enough to change. That's not enough to change what's going to happen, but it's enough to change the ending of everything.
Yeah,
and I don't know. Part of me feels like I should be really annoyed at what they've done because it's like we're going to take the ending of the original series, and make it the halfway point in for this one, and but we're not going to do the ending proper to that. Like we'll just have everything else bar the ending and a little spicy twist in there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just literally scratching my head, just like I'm so torn on how it ended. it's so funny.
Like being in the industry that I'm in, I understand that they do have to change things.
I can understand. Yeah, why make anything creative? We should just gonna do the same thing someone else has already done. That angle, I totally get. So something different. Like, yeah, fair enough.
But the things that they did change, I'm not really on board. I'm intrigued, but I'm not really like, oh wow, I can't wait to see this. Like I'm slightly intrigued about it. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not like I almost like I'll be honest with you. I seen it the first week it was out, and then I had to rewatch it. That's how much it stuck with me is like I had to kind of rewatch,
Yeah,
like some of
and
it.
it's a shame because at least for me anyway, like I enjoyed it to an extent. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and rave about it. I don't think it's worthy of that. I think the cast, the core
yeah,
three, like John Cho, what's her name, Daniela Pineda or Pineda.
yeah,
I can't pronounce it now. I've never heard it pronounced. I don't know. And I can't. Was it Mustafa?
Mustafa, yeah,
That's it, Mustafa. Yeah, like old
Copperhead,
Copperhead. Yeah, I think at least he's in a better Netflix show.
yes. Yeah, ouch, ouch, ouch. That hurt.
I say
Opportunity.
I say show. He has a better role.
Yeah.
He's allowed to act in this one, as opposed to Luke Cage, where I don't. He had his lunch apparently. No.
I'll take that as I'll pretend I didn't, pretend I didn't hear that. But go on.
It's
Go
fine.
on.
It's Netflix. You got a jab in. Anyway. But I don't know. Like those core three, I thought they absolutely nailed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I love the
Faye,
characters.
a lot of people. Faye's a bit of a conversation being had right now because it's like Faye. Like it's very close to Faye being how Faye is in the series, but it's
Yeah.
just there's something slightly off
Slightly
about Faye.
tweaked. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously they changed. Not even. Can't even say changed. They explore her character somewhat slightly differently in this. They haven't
Yeah.
changed the whole cryo bit. They didn't mention the fact that she's with Arnie. I don't think. I think they
Yeah.
completely jettisoned it in this, but they explore something else, and she explores someone else. But something is slightly off with Faye, and I can't put my finger on it. But because I can't put my finger on it, I could kind of be like, hey, it is Faye Valentine for 95% of it, but I can
Yeah.
appreciate the level they stuck to. Like the characters feel like the characters.
Yeah. Well, I would say they feel kind of like the characters 2.0 or light, a little bit.
Yeah, light's probably a good way to put it. Yeah.
It's not exactly what the characteristics of the OG show,
No.
but it doesn't divert as much as like to change a lot of it. So
No.
like it doesn't like it's not jarring.
No. It's not like we've just taken a specific relatively new comic character and changed something drastically about that.
Yeah, and then like make a completely different character, and
Yeah.
like there is that it's sort of like I guess like it's Spike Spiegel light, like I think out of all of them I think he
Or is
does a
it
pretty good job.
fearless?
Fearless. Yes, fearless light.
I would just say not a fan of that. I don't.
Nah,
I can. It's one of those. I can understand why they gave him the name change. It makes sense.
yeah.
Like if you're coming from that sort of a background and you can't really get out of the mob, and if you do, they're never going to let you live. Like you're
Yeah.
going to kind of change your name. I understand that. Like I can understand why they went for Fearless. It's like, oh, Vicious is called Vicious because Vicious he's literally vicious. Like it's his character. Like Spike's the Fearless one. It just came off as cheesy.
Yeah.
Like didn't need that, but it's not affecting the show, the character, so whatever, fine. And I think it's probably why the new stuff doesn't land is it doesn't add anything.
Yeah. It I don't know. You know what it almost feels like to me? It was like, oh man, I forgot what was that anime like they turned into a live action. Man, I'm
Death Note.
complete. Yeah, like Death Note. It's exactly like Death Note.
Oh,
To
see,
me.
I found this to
No, this was
be.
better. Don't.
I find this one to be a respectful adaptation of the series,
Yeah.
where Death Note is a spit in the face for that entire.
Yeah. No, not. It's not. No, it's not like that. It's just like it reminds me of the fact that like they. It's not exactly like the character was portrayed in the original anime. You know, like because if you look at Battle Angel, can never
Battle
say that.
Angel Alita.
Yeah, and Ghost in the Shell, those were all like almost like one for one transition, transfers from the actual anime. But with like Death Note and this, it was just like they kind of like, and I can understand why, because it's like you want to make, you're put your spin on this stuff, but it's like I don't know, it just kind of loses something for me when something like that happens. It's like it just changes a little too much for my taste.
Because
and I agree, the fearless thing.
Yeah, it's like even the whole like the structure of it, where they've moved a lot of the stuff around, and a lot of the episodes weren't in the same order. Like the like the clown guy, obviously isn't this early on. He's in the back half of the series, not towards the front. And Faye wasn't introduced in the Space Warriors episode either. Like she was in their own, like the whole casino thing and all that. So like that sort of stuff doesn't bother me, but it's, I don't know, I feel like because the show never gave Vicious a backstory. You only ever really knew about him through Spike and hearing about from other characters. But this show's like, no, we need to give Vicious a backstory. We need to like flesh out Julia and all that. It's like, you don't need to do that because it's not about them.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing, backstory they gave and seeing everything is kind of taken away from Vicious as a whole for me.
Yeah.
Like he's supposed to be intimidating. He's supposed to be vicious. Now he's not that. Like he's done very well. Like he could have had the bird, but I can take the bird not being or the cormorant, whatever it is. I can't. Some weird big flappy bird. Like but he's supposed to just be this mysterious, quite vicious figure, and like now he's kind of like a sappy little bastard.
Yeah, I think that it goes back to the writing and the portrayal of the character.
Yeah, it's like we need to give him something to do. It's like, no, you don't. Just focus on. You got enough material with Spike, Jet, Faye.
Yeah.
You can, you could have done a whole episode for Iron. Like we had a bit of Iron. Like you debated me with the corgi. Like he was better.
The one thing is like another thing is like the only casting I had a problem with was Spike.
Ed. Oh really?
Yeah. Well, Ed. Yeah. Well, let me quantify that. I think despite John Cho did a great job. He looks like him, but he's too old. Like if he was doing this,
if it was like
20s
10 years
or something
ago
like that,
or something,
yeah, if he was doing this in his 20s or something like that, or his late 20s, it would have been perfect. But it just seems a little too late to
because he does look old in this.
Yeah. I mean, you can see wrinkles, man. Like it's not like I mean, and I'm not dinging the actor, but it's like they should have put a little makeup on him, make him look a little younger. Like
there were some times I'm like, yeah, you're slightly too old to be my Spike. But
I'll go back to this with experience in that working with Netflix. It's probably because Netflix could not budget the makeup into this.
It wouldn't surprise me.
They probably slashed the budget dramatically, and for a show like this, I don't know what the budget is for real, but I'm just assuming that this.
I mean, it's got to be pretty decent because in all credit and fairness to them, they had a lot of the necessary stuff to make a Cowboy Bebop show. You had the space stuff, you had the ships, which, by the way, at least for me, the ships look fantastic.
Yeah,
like they're as much the character as everything else, like the red tail and the swordfish and the Bebop. Like,
they could have put a little makeup on them to make them look younger.
They could have maybe toned down some of the Dutch angles and not pay for that. But,
I feel like the Dutch angles kind of worked.
I found like after the first 2 episodes, I got over it. I think it's because I took a couple of days to getting back to it. But those first 2 episodes, I was like tilting like left and right, trying to make it like the right way up.
Is this a 6 Batman show or something?
It's like my head's literally gonna fall off if I keep watching the show.
Yeah, I mean, Dutch angles haven't been used a long time in movies because it's an effective thing to use while filming. I think it kind of works because of like what the source material, but like, yeah, it
I
did
just
get
don't
my.
remember. Like, I just don't remember the anime ever doing it. I mean, it probably does, but like I think it just looks so weird when it's like this.
I think they were trying to get the look of the transitions in that show. They did pretty good. I mean, for the most part. But like, it's like my wife has a whole set of like, she disliked this show from A to Z. Like, she's like, no, 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 no. And like at some point she was
It's
saying
just the
no in
reluctance
Japanese.
to like just it being like existing. It's just like, yeah, no.
Yeah, she's like, no, this is not how it goes. Like, and or from her perspective, it's like, it's the same thing with Death Note. It's like they Easternize the
Yeah,
manga a
yeah,
little bit, and it's like,
yeah.
it's not the fact that it's not cultural appropriation, but it's like the casting. I don't know. She just has a lot. Like, there's a
But no,
long
because
list.
it loses like the anime and like the stories and that are so ingrained in the history of Japan, and like
Yeah,
it's also influenced by everything. You can find stuff about newts and pre-war worries and all this stuff in literally anything. Like, there's always a
yeah.
political sense to that. So when you take that sort of stuff out of it and make it a bit more Western, it does lose a fair chunk. In fairness.
I mean, Death Note is a prime example of that too.
Oh yeah. Death Note's just a travesty. I can't stand that show. It's
She
horrendous.
she hate. I think that was the one thing. Like, she did not like the show, but she hated that movie. She
Yeah.
like, with the hell, she almost threw the TV out the window at one point. She's like, "This is not how it goes."
That
She's not
actual
an angry
physical
person,
rage.
people. she's not an angry person. She's just very, very passionate about anime. So,
A lot of people have been saying that recently. Certain TikTokers getting excited and thinking buying tickets equates to going to war. No,
ooh,
I'm sorry, I'm passionate. It's like, shut up.
well, I think that person has not gone to war before, because I think they lost. They don't know the actual. That's a pretty
Yeah,
bad.
it's just like
Analogy.
Spider-Man does some weird things to people, man.
Yeah, that's a conversation for a different time.
Yeah,
It's a whole
it very much is. But
a whole podcast.
yeah, I suppose to close this out really, because it's one of those was like it's decent. If you haven't seen the
Yeah,
original, I suggest watching the original first,
yeah,
and then watching this because it's an okay companion piece. Like at the end of the day, I'm just glad they didn't actually. I'm gonna say sorry here, YouTube. Like, just completely fuck with the ending
no, yeah,
because
yeah.
it'll be a typical Netflix thing and a Western production thing to be like, oh, this cliffhanger we have at the end of the season of the original, yeah, we're gonna change that and actually give a definitive answer. It's like, no. Part of the reason why the ending
I'm
works
surprised
is because it's
Netflix.
open to interpretation. Like, you leave that alone. But
I'm super surprised that Netflix didn't do that. I'm just,
in fairness,
just.
as well, they have got a season 2, so there's still time for that to happen. And
Well, I mean, we know
but
that season 3 is probably gonna be the last one for.
well, see, this is the thing. Like, we've done half of the show in season 1. How can there's only a finite amount of episodes you can take from this without doing your own thing. And
Yeah, I mean,
like, at least for me, it came across as it was made by people that actually were trying.
yeah.
Like,
I would
there is
think
a sense of effort put into this show where it's like, no, we kind of need to get this right and honor it in a way. Did everything work? No. Not
Yeah, I
necessarily.
mean, with everything like that, you can't always get everything to work. If you can get majority of it to work, then you're in a good, you're in good,
Yeah.
good hands, man.
Like, is this gonna break new ground and revolutionize live action anime scene? Not in the slightest.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah. No. Should it have done in an ideal world? Yeah. I think Cowboy Bebop should have been the first thing because it is something. I've got people that I know who wanted to watch it just because it looks different. And it's like,
Yeah,
I can't fault the show for getting people into it. If it's like, if
yeah,
people watch it and enjoy it and I see the anime, great, fantastic, it did its job.
yeah.
But
I bought into the hype for sure. Kind of let down, but it wasn't a Death Note for me. It was just kind of like, It was good. It was serviceable. Hopefully, season 2 picks it up a little bit better, which, I mean, usually it does. I mean, like, most shows kind of learn from their mistakes after the first season.
Though, unfortunately, one of the biggest mistakes of this show, it can't learn from because it's kind of it's baked in, and live action Ed is a mistake. Yes, is it Ed? 100%. That is what a live action Ed would look like. Did I want to see Ed in the trailers? 100%. You can't do Bebop without Ed. Was I expecting the season 2? Yes. Why? Because she comes with the backup. But dig, and in fairness as well, it's a 13-year-old kid. It's a 30-second scene. By the time season 2 comes out, they hopefully got better. But my God, that was jarring.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It was nightmare fuel for me because that was. I thought it was a CGI.
Right? They look CGI. I'm just like, whoa.
It was. I think that. I mean, I get what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
But it did not come off.
No, I don't think it helps. They did the typical like Ed's right in your face. Like the face is the full frame of the actual screen. And I think that might have kind of been where they went wrong. It's like, yes, they're trying to stick and how it comes off, but doing a shot like that, and especially for the moment it was like, I think the moment to introduce Ed was not then, like, guys dying on the ground in a back alleyway. Don't introduce Ed.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I had nightmares about that scene. It was just the way that they approached it, and like it just was a little too much, in my opinion.
It's this loud child like spy. It's like, what the hell?
I thought they were trying to imitate the anime a little too much. And like, it did not come off.
Also, it's too many words for Ed. Too cohesive and too many words for Ed. Right.
I think I can't say what my wife said about that scene on the podcast. So
no, please. I'd like
I can let your imagination run with you, but it was very sharp and Japanese.
I need this video monetized, so we can't have anything.
I understood 2/3 of what she said, but what I did understand was not fun.
So yeah, it's they got time to fix everything, or tighten everything up. It's if they can keep going how they've done with this season, then you're gonna have 2 very okay seasons for me. Like,
I mean,
and at this point with anime, this point with like how live action anime is, I will take okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can. They have time to like make it delve it a little bit more. Whether they do that or not, I don't know. But I hope they fix it at character.
Yeah, and hopefully get a decent budget, because if they do the trucker episode, they're gonna need it. Because 90% of that episode is out in space. And
space. They better. I mean, there's ways you could do it that. Like not cheap, like I guess cheaply, but and make it look fun. Like you can stylize it a little bit, but like it has to be good, man.
Yeah, because if anything, like this gave me faith they're you're gonna get the basic beats of Bebop, like all that stuff you're gonna get. Like they didn't even the goofy crap, like the clown, like, they didn't even skip out on that. So I've got faith it's gonna be a consistent level going forward. So. Yeah. So yeah, if you're interested, watch it. If you've seen the original, just watch it. Don't.
If you got Netflix, watch it. I mean, like it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
if you're a fan, if you're a fan, it's not like the worst thing you can watch.
No.
But just I would say, kind of like if you're a fan of the anime, kind of temper your expectations a little bit.
Yeah, don't go in expecting Oscar-worthy anything, or like 100% frame for frame. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's frame for frame, but it's
and whether that stuff works is a question too. But like, I would just temper your expectations. Just kind of lower them a little bit, not to the ground, just take it down a notch. You know.
Also,
Enjoy
the
it.
music, like they got the original composer back, so the music is absolutely banging. Like, if there's one thing this show got spot on, this the music. Like,
I mean, anytime you can get the original composer back, it's probably a big plus, you know.
And it's not like they phoned it
great.
in. Like, this is actually like they're legit. The music is great. Like,
no, yeah,
kind of
it's
Spotify playlist. No.
If I had to like praise one thing, it was definitely the music.
So yeah, watch it. Well, at least watch the original. Like, you owe yourself that if you haven't seen it. It's on Netflix. It's free. You ain't got an excuse not to watch it. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. So bye bye.
Bye bye.